Joining us on the line now is Councillor Steve Cook. Steve is the Mayor of Sutton. Thank you so much for joining us, Steve. First things first, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Henry. Yes, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too, and of course that is what I want to focus on today. Of course, Sutton Borough has scooped the top prize at the New Year's Day parade. Tell us a little bit about the event firstly, and then we'll get on to kind of Sutton's travel-themed float.
Yeah, well, the London New Year's Day parade has been going for 33 years now, which is quite an amazing feat in itself. And Sutton has been involved, I think, since day one. But this year, our entry was chosen above all the others and won first prize by the adjudicators that were there. And they did a float on the back of a lorry, which was headlined "Sutton Welcomes the Children of the World," and it was actually brilliant because they built an airport arrivals lounge on the back of the lorry, and a duty-free shop and all sorts of things to do with airports. And we had children on the float that were from all over the world, different costumes, and it was fantastic. Music and dancers and acrobats and all sorts of things. It was all brilliant, and it was all arranged by Christine Lindsay, who runs it every year, and she's the chairman of the Gary Mason charity, the Gary Mason, who was the world famous boxer who died about 6 years ago. It's his charity, and she organises the whole thing through them, her and all of her volunteers and helpers. So it was a brilliant effort, and they did a fantastic job.
It does look fantastic and looks like great fun. There's some photos online, and of course this international travel theme float, it had quite a few people involved as well. I've just seen on the local London website, it says there were over 80 performers, old and young, so it kind of included a lot of different people.
That's right, and the youngest actually was 3. There was a 3-year-old there, and the oldest, I think, there was an 85-year-old lady who was involved as well. And that we took us 2 buses, 2 coaches to get everybody up there, so about 80 is right.
Absolutely brilliant. Steve, I want to touch on now as well, because it says here that you collected £10,000 for the borough's chosen charities.
That's
now,
right.
Could you tell us a little bit about these 2 groups? There's firstly the Kidney Fund and also Sutton Home Start. What kind of work do they do?
That's right. Well, the award was first prize was a £10,000 donation to the Mayor's Charities, and then we got a great big silver trophy as well and a big plaque to go on the wall. But the £10,000 will go to my Charities Fund, which, as you say quite rightly, is the Kidney Fund, which is based out of it's the renal unit based out of St Helier Hospital. And it helps them with all the research they do towards, for kidneys and also for diabetes. And the other one is Home Start Sutton, which is a local charity that looks at that gives advice to new families, new young parents who've got children who are maybe struggling a little bit, and they need a little bit of assistance and help on to how best to get their kids into the proper schools and so on and so forth, and just gives children and parents, young families, help when they perhaps are struggling a bit.
And of course, after you've chosen these charities, as you said, the Mayor's Charities, it must be kind of such a nice surprise when you actually find out there is money for winning this particular prize on the New Year's Day parade, and £10,000, like you said, it will certainly go a long way.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, it joins in with all the other money that we've collected so far, and I think that so far, we've collected something in the realm of about 24,000. So I think we're doing quite well so far, and we've got another 5 months to go. So who knows what we can collect in that time.
So Steve, as well, the float, as I said earlier, looks absolutely brilliant. Sutton's one. Of course, I imagine there's a rivalry between other London boroughs. You want Sutton to certainly win, and there's neighbouring ones.
There is, yeah, and one of the rivalries come from, obviously, one's local to us, Kingston and Croydon and Merton and everything. Obviously, there's a little local rivalry there, but the big rivalry is that every year the Westminster Council, they're the ones that normally win it. They're normally up the top there because Westminster is obviously one of the wealthiest boroughs in London, and they have all the theatres and all of the stage schools and all of the costume warehouses and all that based up in Westminster, and they get a lot of people from the showbiz area who come and help them out. and they get a company to do it for them. And but Sutton is only done by local people and volunteers with with money that they get from a little bit of money from the council to help with the transport, the local company Conference Hall, who gave us the lorry for the day, and a local business called Subsea 7, who gave us the money towards putting the thing together. But everything else, apart from that, it's all volunteers doing their thing and doing the construction and the painting and the design and the artwork and the costumes and everything else. So I think that's one of the reasons why we did so well, is because they saw that it was actually local people, volunteers, doing all the work.
So in footballing terms, of course, Westminster winning it most years, you've done a bit of a Leicester City here, haven't you? You've come up and surprised everyone by winning.
Well, it's probably more like a Sutton United, really, I think.
Fantastic. And Steve, just a quick one before we let you go. Sadly, I wasn't able to attend the New Year's parades. Many people listening to this may not be able to as well. What other London boroughs deserve kind of a worthy mention for their efforts in their particular float? Were there any that you were also impressed with?
Yeah, well, the second prize went to Havering, and the third prize went to Redbridge. But there were some other very, very good boroughs entries as well. Hillingdon did a really good job as well. And there was another one, and I can't quite remember what it was because it was such a busy day, but there was one one London borough, and they came along, and they had basically an Indian and Sikh-based pipe band with drummers and bagpipes and everything, all in kilts and everything, but they were all guys who were Indian, and it was fantastic, to see these people marching along with bagpipes and drums and everything from an Indian community in. So it may have been Hounslow, I'm not sure, but they were great as well, and I really like them because I love pipe music anyway, so it was great.
That sounds absolutely brilliant. Well, Councillor Steve Cook, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Henry, and I hope your radio station has a great year.